mixed reaction to Oscar Pristorius' 6-year sentence for the murder of Reeva Steenkamp. Judge Thokozile Masipa handed down the sentence at the North Gauteng Hight Court this morning. A former journalist turned advocate, Judge Masipa, was the third black woman to be appointed to the bench in 1998 and has a track record of handing down maximum sentences to men convicted of violent crimes against women. Well, Kimmona Kannigan is an independent legal analyst and she joins us on the desk now. Good afternoon, Kim. Always a pleasure having you on the SABC News Desk.
Great being here. Thank you for having me.
Kim, a fair and just, reasonable sentence here, or one that's unduly generous and inappropriately light? What do you make of it?
To be honest, Kish, I'm still reeling a little bit from the shock of it. I think particularly because we must bear in mind that he was initially convicted of culpable homicide and he was sentenced to 5 years imprisonment. And the Supreme Court of Appeal subsequently overturned that conviction and found him guilty of the more serious crime of murder. And if culpable homicide carried a sentence of 5 years imprisonment and Judge Masipa saw fit to hand down a sentence of 6 years of imprisonment, it's just, to my mind, it's incomprehensible.
Yes, and one does wonder why she deviated so from the minimum sentence. And if we take a look at this particular judge and her track record, Kim, this is not the first high-profile case she's presided over. There have been others. She's accustomed to such cases, and she has in the past shown a clear willingness to hand down maximum sentences to perpetrators of violence against women and children. For one, she convicted Shepherd Moyo, the serial rapist and robber, of 252 years in prison. She didn't have any hesitation about that. And then also in 2009, she put police officer Freddie Mashamba away for life for shooting dead his wife. So what are some of the factors she took into consideration in this particular case?
She would have considered factors in mitigation and aggravation of the sentence. And in mitigation of the sentence, she would have considered issues such as the fact that Oscar Pristorius is in fact vulnerable without his prosthetics. The fact that he genuinely believed that there was an intruder within that enclosed space and that he tried to revive the deceased immediately subsequent to the incident. And of course, she's off the view that he's shown genuine remorse, and that would be in mitigation of sentence. But with regard to aggravation of sentence, she would consider issues such as the fact that he used a lethal weapon with high-grade ammunition.
And the fact that he was trained in such weaponry.
He was trained in such weaponry. He has a previous track record there as well. So those were factors that she would have considered in aggravation. And somehow or the other, she managed to balance these factors against each other and came out with a 6-year term of imprisonment.
How will the state maneuver here? They must be considering their options at this point. Will they appeal, and what grounds for appeal do they have at this juncture, Kim?
I read just possibly 10 or 15 minutes ago that the state would have considered an appeal, or rather intended to appeal the sentencing if the judge had handed down anything less than 8 years. So the 6 years falls well below that. So I can only, it remains to be seen. They have 14 days within which to appeal the sentence, and there again they will have to show that the sentence handed down is so shockingly disproportionate that it incites some sort of public outcry. And it remains to be seen what happens here.
How long will Oscar have to serve before he's up for parole?
Again, it's almost a disappointment. He will have to serve anywhere between half and 2/3 of his sentence. And there, of course, we need to remember that he's already served a year in terms of that culpable conviction, the culpable homicide conviction that he'd previously been convicted of. So he's already served a year, and he could serve a minimum of 2 years before he would be eligible to apply for parole.
Kim, thank you so much for your time and sharing your insights with us on the SABC News Desk. Always a huge pleasure having you with us. That was Kimmona Kannigan joining us on the desk. She's our independent legal analyst. Moving on to some